This is the Louie T Network.
Man, I love some football. Man, I love some football. My favorite week is week 1, cause I'm watching football. First comes the preseason, and I don't take a day off. And then it gets even better when your team makes the playoffs. 32 teams go hard for one thing. They work for one thing. That Super Bowl ring. 32 teams go hard for one thing. They work for one thing. That Super Bowl ring. We in the lab room.
Who else could it be but me, your man, Louie T? Welcome. You are in the lab room. Of course, I'm your host, Lou. Thank you for joining me. Week number 2 in the National Football League. We're talking about in the lab room's game of the week. Did it live up to the hype? No. But nonetheless, it was crowned as the game of the week. The Atlanta Falcons coming off a huge home victory within the division versus New Orleans Saints. On the road, taking on the Cincinnati Bengals, coming off of a huge win within their division. On the road against the Baltimore Ravens, looking to protect their house, something they did very well a season ago. Knew it was going to be tough for the Atlanta Falcons to go into the jungle. Welcome to the jungle. We got food and games. Knew it was going to be tough for them to go into the jungle. Welcome to the jungle. And come out with a W. But if anybody could do it, it's Matty Ice in the Atlanta Falcons. So let's talk about this game. Cincinnati continues their red zone woes as they have a nice steady drive to open up the game, but have to settle for another field goal. Remember, that was an Achilles heel in Baltimore in week 1. They were able to come away with the victory, but very narrowly. Because of the missed opportunities to score touchdowns, that game was a lot closer, and at one point they trailed in that game because of the lack of touchdowns, something they've got to improve upon if they want to get back to the postseason once again. However, it's 3-0 in this game. Early on, Cincinnati takes the lead. Falcons answer right away with the field goal of their own to knot it up at 3. So Falcons look to be game early as they drive back down the field and get those 3 points right on back. Mohamed Sanu with a gorgeous 50-yard throw to Brandon Tate along the sidelines. I know he used to be an ex-quarterback, but that pass, did you see the pass that he threw, people? Do you understand how tough it is to put the ball in the location that he did between 2 defenders on the side? That football had to be where it was. I don't know if Andy Dalton could throw the football that well. I can tell you this much. 80% of the quarterbacks in this league that start couldn't have made that throw the way he made that. Let alone a receiver, ex-quarterback, making that throw. Mohamed Sanu is definitely a dual threat weapon for this Cincinnati Bengals team. That's not the first time he's put the football on the money, on the button to a receiver down the field, 30, 40, 50 yards in the air. This kid can throw it. He can catch it. He's a multifaceted athlete that can do a lot of things. And throwing the football is just one of his traits that stands out among the rest. And so this kid is dynamic, and that was a hell of a throw by Mohamed Sanu. One of the big plays that he was a part of in this game. We'll talk about him a little bit later on. But that set up another field goal, as of course you know. The Cincinnati Bengals struggling to get in the end zone. Big play sets them up in the field goal range as we enter the second quarter. Mike Nugent misses from 38 yards. And this is something that you can't have when you're struggling to get in the end zone. The one thing you need to be able to rely on is your field goal kicker banging it home from wherever. And especially when you're getting in the red zone, you're going to have a lot of easy field goals. You're at the 17-yard line, that's a 34-yard field goal. It's a 35-yard field goal. You're at the 8-yard line, that's a 25-yard field goal. That's a 26-yard field goal. Your kicker is expected to bang those home. Nugent can't be missing from 38, especially when you're coming into these games where points come at a premium. And normally, points come at a premium in every single game in the National Football League. So that's a huge miss early on in this game. And at this point, you find out that young, fresh, and green, A.J. Green is not coming back with that bothersome toe. He tried to give it a go, realized it wasn't going to happen, left the game not to return. So you're already without your best player offensively. Now you got to try to go out and get it done against a talented Atlanta Falcons football team. So you move on after the miss from Mike Nugent, and the Cincinnati Bengals get the football back. And Giovanni Bernard gets a screen and makes it happen and gets down the field and gets into Falcons territory once again. Mike Nugent misses again, this time from 49 yards. And the Falcons immediately try to take advantage of the field position gain from the missed field goal as they go up top to Julio Jones. And in the end zone, it is knocked away at the very last second by George Iloka. I love George Iloka. I loved him coming out of Boise. I love his height, his size, his athleticism. And now it's all starting to come together. And if this kid can get it, if he can just get it, and it seems like he's starting to have that light bulb come on. If he can just get it with his size and measurables and his athleticism, sky's the limit for this kid. And that was a tremendous play in the end zone, because if he does not make that play, you know, Julio Jones is coming down with that pass. And that would have changed the game, because that would have been a touchdown, that would have been a momentum boost, and that would have put the Falcons ahead in this game. Who knows what happens after that? Instead, it's a knockaway. Falcons don't get anything on that possession, and so the rest is history. Running backs carry the next offensive possession for the Cincinnati Bengals as Giovanni Bernard gets a 46-yard dump off. Wow, how athletic and explosive is he? Giovanni Bernard is one of the most explosive running backs in this league. When he gets the football, it's like he has another gear. Just when you think, okay, he shifted to high gear, he shifts it into the highest gear and blows by defenders. It seems like he's always outrunning angles, and he's shifty. He's cutting in and out, starting, stopping, and making guys miss. Beautiful catch and run on this 46-yard dump off. Then your rookie running back, Jeremy Hill, picks up gains of 13 and then 7 to set up a Giovanni Bernard 4-yard touchdown run to ice off the drive, which that's a breath of fresh air and music to the ears of Cincinnati Bengals fans everywhere. You're in the end zone. What a surprise. It's 10-3, Cincinnati up in this game. Mike Nugent tries to connect from 55 as you're going to the halftime break. Of course, he continues with the trend of missing in the first half, misses his third field goal as you go to the halftime break, 10-3. Falcons come on a 0 blitz in the third quarter, trying to be aggressive and get the football out of the hands of the Red Rifle, Andy Dalton. Only problem is, you come with a 0 blitz, you better have flawless coverage behind it. And it was some tough, sticky coverage, but not sticky enough as Mohamed Sanu was able to catch the football as the defender fell onto the ground. He takes off to the races for 76 yards and a touchdown to really bust this game wide open at 17-3. Again, when you're aggressive like that, hey, you live or die by the blitz. The Falcons fell on their sword on this one, and it cost them dearly as the Cincinnati Bengals take a commanding 17-3 lead after the 76-yard hookup from the Red Rifle to Mohamed Sanu. What a game for Sanu. I already talked about him connecting on a 50-yard pass to Brandon Tate. Now he's catching a 76-yarder. Kid had a big game for Cincinnati in the absence of young, fresh, and green, A.J. Green with that toe injury. Matt Ryan picked off in the third quarter by Leon Hall off of a deflection. Cincinnati capitalizes with a touchdown on a 1-yard Jeremy Hill run, and that's his first NFL touchdown. Congratulations to the young fella for getting in the end zone. It's now 24-3. Cincinnati is running away with this game. Matt Ryan picked off again, this time picked off by George Iloka as the Falcons were threatening to score. This was a heck of a pick because he had to climb the ladder. And I think Matt Ryan wasn't sure if Iloka could get up that high or not. He really climbed the ladder. And again, Iloka's a big kid at about 6'2", 6'3". And then his ability to jump, he went up there, snagged the football out of the air. It was a bad throw by Matt Ryan, first of all. But I don't think he thought Iloka could get to that point to bring the football down. And he did. Picks it off, takes it back, and gets the Cincinnati Bengals some great field position and ends the threat that the Falcons were putting together to try to get back into this game. That's the end of the third quarter. 2 third-quarter picks for Matt Ryan really kind of cemented this loss for the Falcons. 14-yard Julio Jones touchdown punctuates a solid Falcons march to try to get back into this game. It's now 24-10. However, Cincinnati, after going 3 and out, punts the football. Huber with a beautiful punt that the special teams unit downs at the 1-yard line. Falcons, with their back up against the goal line, are cautious, aren't able to pick up a first down. They have to punt the football, and then the Cincinnati Bengals run and milk clock, win the football game 24-10. So much for the game of the week. Wasn't as entertaining as I once thought it was going to be. However, Cincinnati took care of business. It's what I expect from them in the jungle. They're a tough team to beat at home. Atlanta, you shouldn't feel ashamed of the outcome. You should be upset at the way you played, however, with the turnovers. Look, it's hard enough to beat Cincinnati without the turnovers and the mistakes. You make those type of mistakes on the road. And again, 2 golden rules on the road. Take advantage of every opportunity given to you. And also, you have to take care of the football. Falcons failed to do both in this game, and hence you get a defeat at the hands of the Cincinnati Bengals, 24-10. Great win for the Cincinnati Bengals at home. So that's 2 good wins for this Bengals team to start the season off. And if you're the Falcons, you got to regroup quickly. You've got a quick turnaround Thursday night football against Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That's a divisional game at home, so you've got to rev it back up. If you're Cincinnati, big win. You're 2-0. You're looking to do big things this season. So that's going to do it for this breakdown here in the Lab Room. I thank you for joining me. If it happens in the National Football League, whether big or small, we cover it all here in the Lab Room. I've got plenty more games to break down in week number 2 in the National Football League. Come back and join me as I continue to run down the slate in week 2. I'll see you in a bit.